For my favorite films, we are now at 40 to 31. Let's go. Number 40, 12 Angry Men. Another movie I've made an extensive video on, so again, I will keep this short. 12 Angry Men is a movie that should not work, but does. It all takes place, for the most part, in one location, but is never boring or dull, with these men discussing this issue, coming from all different backgrounds to really make sure they do the right thing depending on who they are. You have Henry Fonda's character, who is the lawful good, the epitome of what we perceive as the goodness of a person. He plays the part magnificently, of course, but I think the writing should be equally touted as brilliant, because you have magnificent writing that showcases this certain type of morality that is boosted by Fonda's performance. But the core is still there with or without him. And of course, the rest of the cast is superb as well, like Lee J. Cobb and Joseph Sweeney in their respected roles. While I have yet to see the remake, this film brilliantly showcases the power of morality and hope in ways that not many showcase anymore. Number 39, Midnight Mass. Yes, I am cheating with this one since it's a miniseries and not a film, but fuck you, this is my list. This is arguably Mike Flanagan's best work ever. I know a lot of people didn't care for this one due to the massive amount of monologues as well as being very philosophical, but I thought those were some of its best attributes. I was intrigued with how Flanagan would showcase religion in his own way. He could have gone simple and just say, oh, religion is bad, but that's just fucking boring and would have been added to the mountain of mediocre crap with the same message. Here, he really made sure to write religion in a way that is more so about people alienating God's word for their own benefit rather than what it actually is, and because of that, it succeeds. Plus, the entire cast is brilliant. I love seeing Rahul Kohli jump from the CW to working with one of the most prolific horror directors of the modern era. He really deserves it. But everyone did a magnificent job. The main guy was a little too monotone for my liking, but it still works with the character. I love the slow build to everything that's happening, the atmosphere, the twists and turns, and just, oh my fucking god, is this miniseries amazing. Please, for the love of God, pun intended, watch this for yourself. It is truly one of the best things you'll ever see. Number 38, The Exorcist III. Alright, so this, along with the next four, are going to be rather short because I talked about all of them in either previous videos or in my favorite horror films list, so let's get right into this. One of the very few threequels where it not only improves upon its predecessor, but is the best film in the trilogy. Yeah, I don't like The Exorcist, fucking shoot me. Blatty's second and final directorial effort is a brilliant one. Borrowing surreal imagery from his earlier effort, The Ninth Configuration, this one exemplifies it further to add to the overall atmosphere and horror of the film. As I stated when talking about said film, this film is more so about the pursuance of pure evil and how humanity has almost become that. It is personified perfectly in Brad Dourif's performance as the Gemini Killer, which can easily go down as Dourif's greatest performance ever put to film, and one of the greatest villain performances in horror film history. Every single second that he is on screen, you just cannot take his eyes off of him. That's not to say Scott, Miller, and Flanders and the rest of the cast are great as well, but Dourif was just on another fucking level. One of the most underappreciated horror films ever that more than deserves its somewhat recent following.
Is back. George C. Scott in William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist III.
Number 37, The Fly. One of the few times a remake is better than the original, as much credit as I do give the original. I just found the remake to be more interesting, mainly because of the story and the chemistry between David and Goldblum. Their relationship is the heart of the movie because with that, it wouldn't have been as good as it was, as well as the metamorphosis into Brundlefly. The effects were more so icing on the cake, but the actual cake in and of itself is the relationship between characters, the metamorphosis, and how each affects the other. It is a brilliant movie, and there is more under the surface than the gross-out gore-fest body horror film it is known as.
Help me. Please, help me.
Number 36, Day of the Dead. In my opinion, the best of the original Romero zombie trilogy. While the first is the classic, the second is the most enjoyable, the third had more meat on the bones, no pun intended, showcasing Tom Savini's best work, Romero's best written characters, the themes being the best integrated into the film, and the greatest villain outside of the zombies themselves, Captain Rhodes. This is easily one of the most underappreciated zombie films of all time, and one of Romero's most underappreciated films, even though it might just be his best.
George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
Number 35, The Terminator. While originally showcased as a slasher flick with all the proper hallmarks, since this got proper mainstream attention, it was called a science fiction film instead. While it is unfortunately eclipsed by its superior successor, there is a lot of merit here as well. It has this disgusting, gritty, sleazy tone that feels like it belongs in an earlier Martin Scorsese film than anything else. Arnold as the T-800 is downright fucking scary in the role. That was unfortunately never showcased properly again with the bad Terminator side of things. The horror attributes are scary as hell, the sci-fi elements are grounded but intriguing, and the action is also very good despite being used sparingly. The pacing is probably one of the best attributes because exposition said during a car chase, boom, fucking brilliant, and it just never lets up. The start to the franchise that should have died after 2. Ah well, a man can dream, right?
The Terminator. Your future is in its hands.
Number 34, The Silence of the Lambs. Another film that many people do not call a horror movie because of insert bullshit reasons here. But it is, so fuck off. But I feel like I can't talk about this movie because, well, everyone else has already praised this movie enough. So I feel like just another voice reiterating what has been said by people who can write and analyze a hell of a lot better than me. Despite this, it really is as terrific as everyone says it is. The cast, the story, the writing, the pacing, everything is top tier. While yes, Anthony Hopkins is brilliant in every sense of the word, Ted Levine is kind of understated with how great he also is. Dude is absolutely fantastic and deserves more praise. The atmosphere is properly creepy. The tone has the right mix of stoic crime drama and creepy horror flick. It blends those two aspects perfectly. It's Silence of the Lambs. What more is there to say? Number 33, Unbreakable. To me, this is the best M. Night Shyamalan film. Don't get me wrong, I do think Sixth Sense is a very good film, but this I felt was just so much better. Maybe because I like superhero movies, but I feel like this spoke to me more. I loved the relationship between Elijah and David. They work so well off of each other, and both Jackson and Willis do a magnificent job. I liked Willis's more subtle and quieter performance. I think it does showcase his talent as an actor, and Jackson just doesn't even need an introduction. Everyone knows how great he is. I think Spencer Treat Clark did a good job for a child actor. I know Haley Joel Osment gets all the love, and it is deserving, do not get me wrong, but I do still think that Clark did a very good job with what he was given as well. I think the overall look and tone to the whole thing, I like how it was serious but never overly edgy considering this was made at the tail end of the 90s. It could have gotten that way. I just felt that this was a very well done drama about superheroes, and I think it really worked, especially during a time where superheroes weren't totally treated seriously just yet. It's definitely Shyamalan's best film, and certainly an underrated one. Number 32, Aliens. Another movie that needs no introduction. It is considered one of the greatest action sci-fi films of all time. It is brilliant in every sense of the word. The cast's chemistry is absolutely fucking perfect. Lance Henriksen is amazing as Bishop. Weaver's return as Ripley is fantastic. While I have yet to see the special edition, the theatrical cut is still brilliant, and I am aware of the additions that were made. Despite this, no matter which cut, it perfectly blends every genre together near flawlessly. It ups the stakes, it ups the alien into multiple aliens, the effects are arguably even better. It is classic in every sense of the word. Nothing more I can really say.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Finally, number 31, The Northmen. One of the newer entries on this list, and I was completely enamored with it from the moment it said go. This felt like the epics that we have been sorely missing from film ever since the final Lord of the Rings film. It's not big and ostentatious, but it's almost like a personal epic. Alexander Skarsgård is amazing, mainly due to his mannerisms and body language. Anya Taylor-Joy once again proves she is one of the most sought-after names right now. Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe, despite smaller roles, still left an impression. The cinematography is minimalist yet beautiful, and it has an enchanting feel to the whole thing where I could just not take my eyes off of it, as well as the amazing fucking climax. If you know, you know. Robert Eggers further and further proves he is a force to be reckoned with in the film industry, and this is a cinematic experience that will not be forgotten that proves just that. But that's it for now. See you next month with another video.